Hello, everybody. Hi, everyone. This is a global look at what's going to be happening in our world and regarding our leaders and the people that are in the public eye. Because this is Mita, right? It's Mita speaking, your astrology journalist. Because I break the news before the news even happen, and I use astrology. Yes, I do, to make predictions, and I'm like your modern herald, the bird, bring the news before everything happens. But in any case, back to being serious. So we're going to be looking at from the 14th. It is the 14th today as I'm recording this, but I think I may be uploading it tomorrow on the 15th. But regardless, it is the 14th up until the 31st of July. Now, just a few hours earlier, I posted up the predictions for ascendants, like individually, but then this one is a global look at what is going to be happening. Let's get into the astrology. So now what I do see is that from the 16th, let's say maybe on the 16th, I do see, so maybe 16, 17, I would say 18th as well. I do see that there could be announcements regarding to commitments, but then commitments that are being undone. So maybe a government body, because I'm really looking at the geopolitical situation right now. So I do see there could be announcement of a government undoing a contract that was signed prior, and now that is being undone, or that needs to be undone, particularly on the 16th. So this would be particularly on the 16th exactly, but as I said, it could be 17th and 18th. And what is going to happen is that there will be emotional outbursts whereby these contracts are being reversed because of emotional outbursts. Maybe a president says something that irritates another president of another country, and because of this, they decide to unagree or disagree on a previously agreed on policy. I do see that concerning legislation. There could also be questioning of current legislations. I do see a lot of secrecy as well being a matter of, an ingredient basically to this whole situation. Now, when it comes to countries that I do see this coming from, the United States would be implicated or would be involved in this situation for sure. So the other countries, the thing is that I'm still collecting or compiling my database regarding their countries and their ascendant. So that's an ongoing work, or ongoing research, so that I'm able to connect with all of my audiences and make live predictions regarding their own countries, instead of just the main countries that we usually talk about. So in any case, I see that announcement. I also do see, just in the general form of comforts and family life, I do see some destabilization, as I've already said previously in my other video, of family life, and just things not being stable. There's an instability that is being produced here. I would also worry about a certain country be running out of resources, or announcing that it's running out of resources, right? And or maybe it's just not gaining enough resources from its partners or investments as well, because I do see some investments being involved here, whereby these investments are not giving what they need to give. Now, too much expenses, too much expenditure. So there would be news about expenditure and resources, maybe being lost or stuff like that. But then the announcement that would be made, particularly, it would be intended to provoke, power strategies, maybe to provoke another country into submitting to them or into aid, into helping them, with money, finances, or resources. So I do see that it would be a power play of communication, very, very strategic. Now, when it comes to the 18th going forward, I do see that, because remember now Mars and Ketu are getting very close together, so it becomes very critical for a lot of industries and people and governments and just the whole world, right? So the 18th becomes critical, 19th, 20th becomes like even more bigger. Now, what I do see happening here is, of course, fire. I do see fire. I do see hurting, wounding of, it could also be wounding of people, the bodies of people, or it could be a wounding of a country. Maybe a country is set on fire, or there's fire on that day. Maybe a country has to, calling help to destroy fires. Like I already said I think in the video that I just posted 2 days ago, that we would be expecting a lot of fire. And we have been seeing a lot of floods. Now we're gonna see a lot of fire related situations. We're gonna see a lot of air related accidents. So these days I do see that. Also, there could be an attack on a country, on a foreign country, or by a foreign country. So one country is attacking another country, right? Because there's a Rahu element here. Every time when there's Rahu, there's always something foreign. But of course, we do know that there's the ongoing Israel attacking Gaza, right? Gaza. So that is an ongoing thing. So, but I also do see another event being reported on the 20th. So it could start, from the 18th, as I said, up until the 20th. But it's not necessarily Israel. It could be another country that is different, but this would be happening. So, and as I said, bodies, like physical bodies of people, would be affected, would be wounded, and maybe mothers as well, whereby we read about mothers and maybe families, children being involved. Like we've been reading on the news, throughout this whole time. And Mars and Ketu were not even conjunct, but that was happening in any case, right? So now, when it comes to the 20th, what I do see, actually, particularly the 22nd, really now, things just go even way higher and bigger. Because what I do see here is that there is a need to speak, like to talk, harmonizing words or diplomatic words, right? And I do see India being involved in one of these days, like from the 20th, 22nd, 23rd, 21st. So I do see India being involved, and I don't know how they could be involved, but it could be a sudden thing that is highlighting India, like placing India in a spotlight, right? So that is highly visible at this time. And what I also do see, even regarding India, actually, we could be getting another announcement but just before, so probably around the 16th, 15th, whatever, as well. But then definitely on the 20th, 22nd, 21st, 23rd, yeah. And not only India, obviously, it's just that I'm talking about the ascendant that I know right now. And as I grow my database, I'll be able to mention other people's countries in detail. So what I also do see here, there would be a direct challenge of structure in terms of authority. So it could be the people, going against the government. So not only India, but I'm just saying there would be another country that does this. I just referred to India for the highlighting part, but in general, there would be a country that whose people would be striking on these days. So there would be a strike against the government, and at the same time, there would be people trying to harmonize the situation or having talks, negotiations, everything. And most of these negotiations could also be influenced through tech, so through media, social media, all of these things, right? And of course, I also do see that it could also be including employment at this time, whereby maybe it's a strike because of employment conditions or stuff like this relating to this, right? So now there could also be an announcement of employment loss at this time, or people who were fired, they get reinstated at this time. So that is also highly visible here, right? So when I look even further, so there is like on the 22nd, as I said, 22nd is so hot. It's literally just a hot day in terms of events and what is going to happen. So from the 22nd and 23rd, I would say, actually I would also say 24th, because then the 22nd, the really just becomes high and hot. I also do see that some relationships would be in question in terms of diplomacy, when it comes to countries and our governments and our leaders. And at the same time, I also do see that Mars and Ketu would be tightly conjunct right now. So what I do see, a lot of changes are going to happen. There's a lot of rebellion that is going to come out, and it's going to come out, and people will be heightened right now. Their emotions would be heightened right now. I do see a destabilization of power or rulership. So maybe a challenge directly of a certain president or government or member of a parliament, whereby they are directly challenged right now, whereby it's possible there is a destruction of an old structure to build a new structure. So with these things, it could literally mean that one government takes over another government, or one leader takes over another leader's position, and another leader is no longer part of the leadership, right? So that's what I'm saying, like sudden reversal of things or misfortune, so to speak. I do see that. So 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 24th I would say, but 22nd being so hot. And yeah, so these would be expected. So maybe what I can think of is these countries that are trying to take over maybe their government, or another country actually succeeding at this point, and then there's the announcement. So that's what I can think of right now to try to explain what I see. Now, after this whole saga, I do see that the 24th also becomes a high event day. because here what would be happening is we would be getting an announcement regarding a domestic problem. So it could be problems maybe regarding to shipment, or it could be problems regarding to transportation, whereby maybe flights are grounded, people cannot fly within their country, within their state. This is big here. I also do see the government making an announcement on these days, whereby they are directly talking about the future of employment and how they're going to be or related, like the contract wise. And I do see also directly demanding people to settle down. So maybe here there's a strike as well. So I'm saying maybe there's a strike, there's another strike. That's what this could be meaning. That's what I'm going to decide here. So there's strike. Yeah. And then 26th, now we're going towards the end of the month. So what I do see now, things become tougher again, because what's happening now is that Venus is getting into the Gemini sign. Venus is leaving the Taurus sign, which is his own house. But again, remember, as I said, that Venus is acting differently this time around due to the Uranus in the Taurus. So now Venus is going to go into Gemini and it's going to join Jupiter. So now things towards communication are needing diplomacy. So there is a call here to say, okay, there's been strikes, there's been this, we need diplomacy. We need to talk, and it's directly talked to or with foreign countries. So one country here is talking to another country, trying to send some wise words, some diplomatic words, trying to get an agreement. Let's work together. There is too much destruction, too much ship destructions. I see ships being destroyed. So there's too much ship destructions. There's too much. How I said in one of my videos that I saw something underground or close to, under the sea, close to Israel. I said that there could be, like a bomb, a nuclear bomb or whatever, that is placed so close to the oceans regarding that area, right? So, I do see that, but I also see some just ships being destroyed, like I said the last time, and it's been happening, and I posted that, so I do see that ongoing struggle with the shipments as well. Now, what I also do see, basically there are nuclear things being planted under the ocean in different areas, and they are belonging to foreign countries. It's like, if you're my enemy, then I plant my nuclear bomb closer to you, see, so that when I want to destroy you, I just go tick, and then boom. That's what I see. So again, that 24th, 25th, 26th being high critical for the activations of these under the ocean type of bombs or nuclear things. Guys, I don't know. I don't know about nuclear things. I just know about the word. I don't know how it works, but you get the explanation. If you know how it works, and you can make sense of what I'm seeing. Now, when it comes to the 26th until the 28th, as I said, I do see that call for harmony, and it could also be including, or maybe trying to get church people to be involved, like you see now there's this new pope, so maybe he makes a speech of how we should be in peace together, stuff like that. So I do see some encouraging words, optimistic words, like let's do this, let's work together, hallelujah, right? But the fight for land and for identity continues, and it is high at this time. I do see that. I do see not the US, but I do see maybe a speech from President Donald Trump at this time. And if it's not a speech from him, then it's something about him. So I do see some news about Donald Trump during these days. And it could be shocking stuff, of course. I do see that because we have, Mars and Ketu, all of that happening. So I do see some sort of news. And then what I do also see is, people being rigid. Like, people are really rigid. They are so decided to take a stance, and their stance is the right stance, right? Even if there's that Gumbaya message, let's be together, peace for the world for the peace. Like, no, like, countries are just like, we're going to fight for our identity, we're going to fight for our land, we're going to fight for our resources, for what we stand for, we're going to fight. So I see that, right? So, and of course, I do see some harm, again, wounding to some people at this time, like body-wise, literally the body-wise. And it could also involve a leader person right now, because of the Chiron being on the Aries. Aries is the body. I also do see that when it comes to, after this whole mess, 28th until, 31st, 30th, I see now, particularly the 29th, the 29th becomes very critical here. Okay, so what I do see is structures being overtaken or destroyed, or putting an end to one structure to place another structure. What happened earlier, so this could also be now affirming that. And I do see at this point Israel becoming very popular, or being impacted here on these days, because as I said, I only know a few ascendants, so I'm just going to mention a few where I can, because of knowing the ascendants already, having worked on their charts. So I do see something about Israel, structure, power, maybe taking over power, or maybe placing structures, literal structures, in one of the sites of Gaza, or reversing one of their decisions or policies. So one of the two things, but really policy I see here, structure I see here regarding to Israel. And I do see also some words. Something must be said urgently. Something must be said urgently. I see that. And at the same time, with the Pluto being so highly active, of course, Israel is going to be one of those countries for now who are in the midst of, firearms, nuclear things, and all of these things, because of the Pluto directly affecting them right now. So then when it comes to the very last day, like on the 31st, I think what we could expect here is a diplomatic agreement. So it's like these countries make an agreement, but then this agreement is being achieved with a darker motive. So there's a motive, it's being introduced, but there's a darker meaning behind it. That's what I see here. So it's going to be definitely between foreign countries, so not a domestic thing. So it's going to be one country with another country, and there's going to be a third person who's acting as a counselor or an advisor. So this person that is acting as an advisor could also be misinformed right now, but because of the experiences that they have, they are trusted as the go person or country that is helping in this agreement. So because this agreement is based on darker motives, it's something that is not going to last. Excuse me, so my voice is leaving, so I'm going to have to stop. But anyway, it's something that is not going to last. It's a contract that in the long run is going to be undone. Excuse me. So maybe in like 2 years time, they could realize that actually this contract that we've signed is actually nothing. It was just a smoking gun. And unfortunately, it's going to involve a lot of people, and there's a lot of societies as well are going to be involved here. So I do see that. So it could be also including a promise of money, promise of profits that I see, and a promise of partnership that is going to be beneficial for the society. But as I said, it's something that is going to be short term, 2 years maximum I give it, and then it's going to be reversed. But then of course we're going to know about it right on this day. We're going to know about this agreement that countries are signing. These countries are signing with the help of another country, but just know it's not going to last. So because my voice is telling me that I've spoken too much, what else did I want to talk about? I wanted to talk about Tanzania. I wanted to talk about President Donald Trump, because I know his chart. I wanted to talk about India. I wanted to talk about the Supreme Leader Khamenei. I wanted to talk about, because I also did his chart, so I know his chart. I wanted to talk about Haiti, because somebody asked me about Haiti, that I should do the Haiti chart, and Ethiopia. That's been on my plans for this long time. So I think for these specific countries and people, I'm going to do a part 2, and so maybe tomorrow or the day after, and then tell you what is going to be happening in these countries on within these 2 weeks, and you can check it and see what is up. From today, like the 14th until the 16th, I am expecting some news that would be coming from a leader. By a leader, I mean somebody who's really important, who's like a president or a minister of some country, right, from the parliament, who would be making this announcement, which would be very shocking or seem like it's mad. You know how President Donald Trump surprised the EU with that 30% taxes, then it will be like something like this, whereby nobody's really expecting this. Even the partners of this country, they're not expecting this announcement, but then it gets to be publicized now. What I also do see definitely is going to be targeting or sent to foreign parties or foreign partners or allies. So that is what is visible here. So there would be a foreign involvement in whatever announcement is going to be made by this important person. But what I also do see is that the partners would be hurt. The partners would not take that announcement, with kindness, such as was the case with the EU. They were like, what is going on? We reject this 30% hike. And and of course, Mexico was like, no way, we're not scared about these things anymore. So there would be, something like that. But particularly tomorrow, the 15th and the 16th, become the high points for this news to happen now. obviously when if I upload it tomorrow, and hopefully there has not been the news, but I would have anyway seen it. But now, I was just also looking at the news now regarding the announcement, the motion served by Judge Lyman in the case of Baldoni and Blake, like Lively and Baldoni and team. And remember, I broke the story. I broke the story through astrology. You guys remember that? That I had predicted the outcomes and what was going to happen, and that Baldoni was going to sue Blake Lively's husband and Blake Lively. And at the time, he had only sued New York Times, but in their charts, in their synastry, I saw that he was going to sue Blake and the husband as well. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but the charts were showing me that. So I broke that story even before the lawyer told everybody else. And I'm not American, I'm not in America, so there is no way I would have known about these things. So that just shows the power of astrology. In any case, everything I say here is alleged for the sensibility and the sensitivity of these topics and these people that I talk about, right? So everything is always for research purposes when it comes to our research media platform, right? So I was just looking at I was watching, I think, one of the blogs, I think it was Perez, about this outcome from Judge Lyman, and I made a comment there, but then I thought, let me just make that commentary because it was from a legal point of view. As you guys know, I do have a master's degree in law, so I wanted to just highlight my view, because I did predict, if you guys remember, that if this case was not settled before May of 2025, then Baldoni would have difficulties and struggles in gaining anything like worthy from Lively or her team. And of course, in June, his case was dismissed against Lively and team, and showing those struggles that I predicted looking at their charts. Now, of course, this outcome from today of Judge Lyman is quite surprising from a legal point of view. It's a huge leniency. It's a huge leniency or a huge discretion that he's given. But if we remove the emotions and we remove the people, we remove Lively, we remove Baldoni, and we leave out only the lawyers. As I was saying on that blog, that I really admire the work or the strategies of Lively's team, because what they're showing here is they're showing that they are good at law. That's what it's all about. They are good at law, regardless of what the truth is, or who's to blame, regardless of all of that. Her lawyers are showing that they know the law, they know how to go about the law, they know how to strategize, because from today's motion, what they have achieved for Lively is huge. A lot of people may miss this, but then those attorneys have achieved a huge thing, because with this motion they now have new evidence that is legally founded and that is supported by a judge. It is a ruling of a judge, of a federal judge, that ultimately confirms or states that Blake Lively is a victim, number one. Number two, Baldoni and team are the perpetrators. Number three, Blake Lively deserves to be protected from these people. And number four, that these people are, Baldoni and team are untrustworthy. They cannot be trusted. Their word cannot be trusted. If they say there's not going to be anybody in their office or who's going to harm Blake, they cannot be trusted. So basically what this document has given Blake Lively and her team through her attorneys, who are brilliant, by the way, is a legal evidence of foundation to her claims. She is now legally backed by a judge through his ruling that she is indeed in danger when it comes to Baldoni and team, because if she was not in danger according to the law, he wouldn't have given all these logistical things, regarding security, all of these comforts that he's given. Because we would remember that many celebrities, high profile, like even more high profile than Blake Lively, have been to court and through the court system, and they have not been given so much comfort and conveniences, discretions by judges, so it is quite a huge and quite abnormal legal decision, which of course it is possible because of the minds of her attorneys. Because what it's doing now is actually creating a guilty verdict way before the trial. Because when the trial comes, Blake Lively, through her attorneys, can now say, look, even the judge agrees that I'm in danger. Because if I wasn't in danger, he wouldn't have given me this protection. But then he agreed that indeed I was in danger against Baldoni and his team, or his people, or his colleagues. So basically what this team of attorneys of Blake are doing, they are building a strategy way before time of having a guilty verdict that is undeniable. Because in the legal system, most of the time, 9 out of 10, all the legal documents that have been produced through judges, they count so much. Like if another judge sees this, he would be like, yeah, but then she was presumed as a victim by the judge, I cannot go against that. Obviously there was evidence that she was in danger, obviously there was evidence that she was a victim, so. But in any case, I'm going to link down below my predictions regarding to this whole case. And because astrology can show everything, and when I did a synastry of Blake and her husband Ryan, a lot of people were saying, oh, they're gonna divorce, and I didn't see that in the synastry. I didn't see that. I saw them coming back together after this whole situation is finished and rebuilding their home together. So we see all of these things through astrology. But in any case, thank you. I will chat to you soon. I'll be into and ciao.